This is a sad story, but lessons can be learned from it. In the late 2009, a 17-year-old Danish who was a student at the Robert Lee High School in the United States hatched a cold plan to escape the strict rules of his mom. And guess what he did? He recruited an older classmate of his to eliminate his mom. And he succeeded. This is a story behind the story. Danish was a very smart student who was loved by every single person on campus. Danish was class president, the high school principal student helper, and he was tipped as a student with a bright future. In fact, authorities and his teachers in the school tipped him to be a police chief. Some tipped him to be the president of the United States, and some tipped him to be an attorney general. Of course, some saw him to be a millionaire in the future. This tells you how hard-working Danish was and how he was loved by everybody. The mother to Danish was Tobasom, and Tobasom was a single parent trying to make sure Danish lives that dream that she expects the son to be. And so to Tobasom, she was extremely happy that Danish was living within her expectation. Tobasom made sure Danish didn't lack anything. She bought Danish a car, she got Danish a credit card, and made sure everything was very okay with Danish. But Danish had different intentions. So one day, Danish went to campus and spoke to this older classmates of his called Noor Mohammed. And Danish struck a deal with Noor Mohammed to pay him $10,000 to get his plans executed for him, of which the two agreed on the amount. So Danish made the arrangement to find a way to bring Noor to the house to execute the plan. And according to reports, allegedly, Noor stabbed Tobasom 48 times. That led to the death of Tobasom. Now, according to reports, Danish did not sleep in the house the very day the barbaric act was committed by Noor. Danish did not sleep in the house. After bringing Noor to the house to commit the act, Danish took Noor's bag and went again to pick a girl to a date. So they went out partying and then came back the next morning to see the body of his beloved mom, Tobasom. So this is where Danish picked up a phone to call police that this is what he has found. He came back from partying and found the mom unalive. And so police came in for Danish, but surprisingly, police found no blood stains on Danish. And police found that to be very surprising, because Tobasom is the mom to Danish, and apparently Danish should be surprised. Danish should be pushed after coming back from the party to see the mom lying flat on the floor, unalive. And so ideally, Danish should have rushed to touch the mom or something, to have some sort of blood stains on him. But to their surprise, Danish had nothing like that. So looking through the eyes of Danish, detectives suspected Danish. They knew there is more story behind the story, but nothing they could do because they could not have enough evidence. Upon arriving at the scene, police saw blood stains at the door handles, which this killer touched the door before leaving. And then again, there was this white envelope on the table that was beside Tobasom, which also had blood stains on it. So police ran that DNA with Danish, and guess what? There was nothing that was matching with Danish DNA. So Danish was allowed to go scot-free. But police had their suspicions, and so they kept digging, as detectives will always do. They will never rest until they get to the bottom of every single case. They kept digging until one day they arrested Noor Mohammed in the school. But this arrest was never in connection with the death of Tobasom, the mom of Danish, but it was in connection with some gang activities, robbery activities, and drug activities that was linked to Noor Mohammed. Remember, I told you he was a gang member, and so he was being looked for by the police. And so when Noor Mohammed was arrested, Noor thought that the arrest was in connection with the death of Danish mom, and so Noor began to scream, tell Danish I'm going to jail, tell Danish he should give me a call, tell Danish he should visit me in jail, tell Danish he should do that. And so this began to ring a bell to the detectives. Why is he calling Danish? This is the same Danish who lost the mom through mysterious ways, through a barbaric way some time back. So what is the link here? Now, interestingly, when Noor Muhammad was arrested, he was wearing gloves. So detectives told him to pull out the gloves. And guess what they saw? They saw stitches at the hands of Noor. So police asked Noor, what happened to you? And he said, oh, he cut turkey. And as a result of cutting the turkey, he had that cut. And that's why he has got that stitches. But police will never rest, because every single thing they come across, they need to verify to make sure they get to the bottom of it. And so a DNA was run on Noor, and guess what? Boom, it fired up. That DNA matched that of the killer of Tobasum, the mother of Danish. This is when the whole thing became very interesting. Now, according to Noor, he was contracted by Danish to eliminate the mom, which he did. An amount of $10,000 was agreed, but Danish ended up paying him $1,000. So this is what happened, which led to the arrest of Danish. But in Noor's confession, he made it clear, allegedly, that Danish took him in his car to the house, got doors open for him to get into the house, to commit this barbaric act, and then brought him back to where he was supposed to go. And so this is how the two managed to commit this barbaric act. At this point, Danish knew that detectives have had enough evidence about him, and so there was no way he could deny. Danish admitted, and that's where he made it clear that the mom was so strict and that mom didn't allow him to live the kind of life he wanted to live. And so that's why he recruited Noor Muhammad to eliminate the mom. Noor Muhammad stabbed Tobasum 48 times. That was gruesome. That was barbaric. Yes, and that is how Noor executed the task that was assigned to him by Danish. So eventually, Danish was jailed for 50 years, whilst his accomplice Noor Muhammad was also jailed for 40 years. But interestingly, 70 years after this incident, Danish decided to revisit the books to rewrite the story again. And guess what Danish said? He said he contracted Noor to go to the house, not to kill the mom, but because the mom was always taking care of him, because his mom was always all over him, making sure everything is all right. The mom did not see him as a man enough, and so he contracted Noor Muhammad to go to the house to rob the mom and make sure nothing happens to the mom. And he then Danish will walk straight to the house to tell the mom that, hey mom, I'm here, I'm a big boy, I will take care of you. And that was the plan, but there was no intentions of killing the mom. But detectives saw otherwise. They still believe that even in jail, Danish still sees himself as one of the smartest guys in the jail. And so it is only an attempt to revisit the books and to rewrite his own story. This is really sad story, but the moral lessons here is kids might not be appreciative enough of how their parents wants to bring them up. If there is anybody who wants you to succeed better than them, to succeed way above them, it has to be your parents. Apart from your parents, no one on earth wants you to succeed better than them. The good lessons is our parents always know better than we do. This is Explore with Pascal. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so for more interesting like this.